an old piece from the age of Kali, when I went to visit Dona Georgina in Lutalym. Some of you may remember her. I hasten to add that her views are not mine, and I'm not in any way endorsing what she says, but I think she was a wonderful relic of a particular type of old Goan grandee. She died, Dona Georgina Figueiredo died 3 years ago, and is buried in Lutalym. Liberation? Said Dona Georgina, her face clouding over as quickly as a Goan sky in the monsoon. Did you say liberation? Botheration, more like. I'd clearly said the wrong thing, and Dona Georgina Figueiredo was now sitting bolt upright on her divan, rigid with indignation. We were talking in her 18th century ancestral mansion, not by any means the largest of the Indo-Portuguese colonial estancias that still dot Goa, but certainly one of the most perfectly preserved. I had driven to Dona Georgina's village, Lutalym, along a lagoon edged in coconut groves, breadfruit trees and flowering hibiscus. At the centre of the village was a large white Baroque church. In front of it stood a small piazza, on one side the school, on the other the taverna, the Good Shepherd's Bar. In it, appropriately enough, the village priest was sitting at a table in a white cassock, reading the daily paper. Scattered around the vicinity were the grand houses of the village, and the grandest of all was Estancia Dona Georgina. Francis, bring Mr. Dalrymple a glass of chilled mango juice. I will have a cup of tea. The servant padded off over the bare wooden floorboards. It was not long after that I made my gaffe about the liberation of Goa. Dona Georgina clasped her hands and raised her eyes to heaven. Now understand this, young man, she said, in an accent heavy with southern European vowels. When the Indians came to Goa in 1961, it was 100% an invasion. From what were they supposed to be liberating us? Not the Portuguese, because the Portuguese never oppressed us. Let me tell you exactly what the Indians were freeing us from. They were kindly liberating us from peace and security. In fact, since 1961, we have had 2 invasions. First, it was the Indians. They plundered Goa. Then, it was the turn of the hippies. Disgusting. That's what those people were. Disgusting. All that nudism and sexual acts on the beach and on the roads, even in Panjim. Panjim, can you imagine kissing in public? And I don't know what else. Disgusting. Of course, she said, it's because of drugs that their behaviour is as it is. Disgusting people. Drugs and sexual acts and I don't know what else. Those hippies and our modern Indian politicians. The Portuguese wouldn't have allowed either. Mr. Salazar would have known what to do with those hippies. He wouldn't have let them behave the way they did. But despite the hippies and the politicians, I said, you seem to at least have managed to maintain your house. I said, looking around at the succession of perfectly preserved colonial rooms that surrounded us. Thanks to hard work, said Dona Georgina. Hard labour, I might call it. I'm currently fighting 25 lawsuits to keep the family property intact. That's right, 25 of them. And then there are the monkeys. Big monkeys who jump on the roof and try and tear it apart. As for preparing for the monsoon rains, it's worse than a wedding. The amount of work, checking the drains, making sure nothing leaks. But let me tell you this, it is my duty to do so. It is my duty to my ancestors, to myself, and to society. We ended up in front of the ancient oratoria, a cupboard-like object which opened up like a tabernacle to reveal ranks of devotional images, crucifixes, sacred hearts, and flickering candles. Twice every day, the household met there to say a decade of the Rosary. On the wall beside it, Dona Georgina hung a pen and ink drawing of the Holy Family. I drew it myself, she said, seeing where I was looking. The baby is Jesus, and the lamb he is feeding symbolises humanity. The old lady is St. Anne, Jesus' grandmama. All the ancient families of Goa have St. Anne as their patron. Dona Georgina paused, leaving the last phrase hanging in the air. It's entirely through St. Anne's intercession and God's protection that this house is now standing and I am still alive. People ask me, living alone, you must have someone to look after you. Who is it? To which I reply, God Almighty, Jesus Christ, and St. Anne. And young man, let me tell you, between them, they are doing a very good job.